What? Intro. It's intro time. Shush. Everyone shut up. What's going on, main characters? It's your boy Talks Too Much with Third Party Studios. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I hope you guys like our new designs that we have for the channel. We are still doing some troubleshooting and technical fixes for it, but hopefully the stream goes flawless and there are absolutely zero issues, zero problems. But if you guys do like the new theme, let us know in the comments. Smash the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We are going to be paying attention to the chat. And we have a lot to talk about. So we got a few big things that were in the news today. And before we get into all of those, let's just say hi to the Cody. What's going on, the Cody?
Hello.
Are you yeah? How are you doing?
They're better than you, apparently.
I can't stand technical issues. They're like my main frustration. My primary frustration is when I spend money on something and it just won't work or do the thing it's like only intended to do. It's like, how does it just not fucking, like, Streamlabs doesn't stream. Like, it breaks just for no fucking reason, apparently.
It doesn't do the one job it's there for.
Exactly. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. I can't stand it. I might be, like, triggered. But you are in a better mood than I am for sure on this front. But
yeah.
We got a lot of fun stuff to talk to. Hopefully it'll still be a great conversation. Should be a blast. But what have you been up to this week?
Okay, so when it comes to so you know I've been playing Mordhau,
yeah,
instead of Chivalry 2.
Yep,
Chivalry 2.
Chivalry.
I've always had a problem.
Chivalry.
I've gone back to it because Mordhau is more for PC.
And you want to play on PC or you want to play on console more?
No, I want to play on console, but if you can run through a game. Run through a PvP server, just running and swinging and never get hit and just constantly take people out.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, that's what Mordhau is.
But Chivalry is different?
Yeah.
Okay.
You actually have a chance to defend yourself in Chivalry.
Right. That's something that...
in Mordhau, you really don't. I
really didn't get the sense that you could, like, defend yourself in most Sword and Shield fighter games until, like, For Honor. When For Honor had the, because the combat in For Honor was not as dynamic in the sense that, like, you're not doing all these, like, flips and cool tricks until you're at the executions. But it did give you a sense of, like, your involvement in the fight felt a lot more immersive.
Yeah. No, well, though, For Honor takes place in, like, a 4v4.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Chivalry is more like an 18-on-8.
Global fight, big battle,
yeah,
epic, dynamic, but you still get to defend yourself in it. But yes. My point was that, like, it felt very unfamiliar to me when For Honor came out, that I had the ability to defend myself. I was not familiar with a lot of games, Sword and Shield fighter games, where you really could. Like Skyrim, for example, you can, like, evade by using your movement, but there wasn't, like, a blocking in it. Like, you couldn't, like, parry or counter. You know what I mean? You just took you just swung.
Or directional.
Yeah, and then you had healing and stuff like that. Yeah. So For Honor had that mechanic. It felt very young and new to me, so I really liked that. But with Chivalry 2, I honestly thought Chivalry 2 kind of more so copied For Honor's, like, blocking mechanics, but you tell me.
It was before.
Chivalry beats For Honor? It was earlier?
Ooh, I don't know, because For Honor is 2017. Chivalry 1, which no one played, is God knows when.
For Honor?
Gab your mind off while I...
Yeah. For Honor, I don't think For Honor's 2017. I'm pretty sure that's something close to, like, 2014, maybe 12 even. Like, it was young. It was a...
We talk about this almost every week.
For Honor?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, tell the audience how many times we talk about the same thing over and over again. I'm sure they're figuring it out.
Well, we're not repetitive at all.
Never. We never talk about the bullshit. No, but guess what I was, like, got back into? I started watching Mushoku Tensei again, Jobless Reincarnation, and I skipped the season 1 because I already understand the setup and didn't need any setup for myself in it. But Jobless Reincarnation is so much... It just gets better the more times I watch it. Because I catch on all of these little lore tidbits and stuff, and I've read up on some of the manga and understand kind of what's coming. And so I'm just getting excited for all these little things I see in it. Then we had My Hero Academia Vigilantes that came out.
Wait, oh, My Hero Academia. It came out as in like manga or
So Vigilantes, My Hero Academia Vigilantes is on Crunchyroll now, so you can watch the pilot on Crunchyroll. Yeah, so it's
I missed that.
yeah, and I would say that the pilot, I'd say the pilot did a pretty dang good job of like presenting what the manga issue 1 had to show, and I am excited for the second or for upcoming episodes. But at the end of the day, what's going to make me the most excited about Vigilantes is the progression and kind of seeing more of the story past the first few issues and just seeing how well they carry it forward. But I really like the pilot. I had the same issues with the pilot that I did with the first issue of the manga, where I just like a little over the top and a little bit, they had an essay scene in it where like the female support character was being attacked, and I was not really a fan of that when I was reading it in the manga. And
I don't get it. What does that say? I mean,
yeah, so I'm not
I
gonna.
don't even know.
If you don't know, then I'm not gonna explain it. I don't care. I don't care enough to walk you through it.
What's HR? I don't know.
Who is HR? What is a polymorph? We don't know.
Yeah.
These are things.
You can't just smack your coworker on the ass and just say, "Hey there, giddy up, cowboy."
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't you be able to do that? I suppose. We'll see.
I guess it's just dude on dude only.
I mean, in the third-party studios, we don't really have to worry about like SA because
you are human resources.
Yeah, it's like who are you gonna complain to? Me? I'm.
So challenge accepted.
So we do have a lot of news to get into today. What did you find out about Chivalry and
Chivalry is 2012, and For Honor, like we said, for past 100 episodes is 2017.
Okay. All right. It doesn't feel that way because I'm pretty sure like the Xbox One release was in 2014, 2015. And
Xbox One came out in 2014.
Yeah, and I was pretty sure I thought it was a title release, but I was wrong. It was Breach, I think, and Halo 4. Halo 4 was, I think, the title release for the Xbox One.
Was it really that long ago for the Halo?
Well, or they just carried it over so that they had the Halo Reach and then they just moved into.
Because Reach came out on 360, correct?
I thought they made it on the Xbox One and then also made it backwards also made the downgraded version for the Xbox 360. I don't believe it first came out on the 360 and then they brought it to the Xbox One, but I could be wrong. I know that Reach and 4, the timing for them was incredibly bizarre because I'm pretty sure they released Reach then 4, and I think I had some issue with that. I might be mistaken on the release order, but
oh Jesus.
Talk to me. Say it out loud.
It's been 13 years since Halo 4.
Yeah, that sounds.
Came out in 2012.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that was also on the 360 then.
Yes. So what was the story about Reach then? It was Reach.
The Reach was also on the 360.
Well, I know that the game was playable on the 360.
That came out before, because that was still Bungie.
Right.
And Halo 4 was 343 Studios' first foray into.
Into destroying the franchise.
And destroying Halo. Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into our first story. So, from that Park Place, partial China Hollywood ban begins as retaliation for tariffs. So, normally, what we do is we make this a third-party politics topic, but this is actually, I think it's far more related to Hollywood, and I think it's far more related to entertainment. And I love this. I love this so fucking much. Now, a partial ban or bans beginning, I mean, that's not gonna do a huge amount of like damage to either industry, but China confirms Hollywood will be curtailed. So in a statement released Thursday by the China Firm Administration, officials made their position clear to Hollywood and President Trump. The wrong actions of the U.S. government to abuse tariffs on China will inevitably further reduce the domestic audience's favorability towards American films. They said, we will follow the market rules, respect the audience's choice, moderately reduce the number of American films imported. So honestly, like, this is interesting because I wonder what metric they will use to like curtail movies and such, because when it comes to films, most films are manufactured for the consideration that they want the Chinese audience to come to the theaters and see their films. I mean, we haven't had like a genuine American film like that's just made for the American audience. Like that's been a major success for a while. At least I can't think of one. Maybe Oppenheimer.
what's I guess Minecraft is the last big release. It's like, all right, it probably could do well overseas in China because
They play Minecraft too.
yeah, they play one. It, I would say that's the only like they don't really give a fuck or even like I understand Hollywood like basically has to they have to use China as like a support in their system because domestic box offices don't do what they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to rely on China to end up selling their film.
What do you think came first here, chicken or egg kind of question? Like, do you think that
They go.
do you think that
first.
right, I know. But do you think do you think that Hollywood was failing in the box office so they started creating films to like majorly appeal to the global audience, or do you think that they were appealing to the global audience and that started to ruin films? And it
I don't think they appeal to anyone. I don't think they're trying to appeal to anyone.
you just okay. You don't. I mean, you don't think they're trying to appeal to China?
Question is no.
The answer is just not engage with it at all. Just completely ignore it. All right.
It's like no, they rely on China for their box office to gain some money back because domestically, Hollywood, every movie they've put out for the past fucking
10 years longer,
almost over 10 years now is just dwindling.
Yeah, I mean,
like, could that be because of some social thing, or maybe we're just too into social media, or yeah?
Well, I would say definitely to both, but what I would say about okay, so the article continues. The films at stake. While Beijing hasn't outlined which films will be affected, 2 U.S. releases were on deck for imminent release. Marvel's Thunderbolts, opening in May, had already been approved. 20th Century Studios spy thriller The Amateur, which I think that's out already, and I think that movie looks awesome. I still like that actor.
What the fuck is The Amateur?
The Amateur is the guy from Mr. Robot. I don't remember his name, but he's the guy from Mr. Robot. He plays a CIA like analyst, and his wife is killed, and he uses his skills to go after that. Yeah, so those 2 movies are on deck, but I'm pretty sure that one just came out. To debut in Chinese theaters this week, and I think the article came out yesterday. So the bigger question now looms over major tentpoles coming later in the year, namely Disney's Zootopia 2 in November, James Cameron, Avatar: Fire and Ash in December. Avatar: Fire and Ash needs to be successful. I mean, it has to be.
Well, it's going to be.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Didn't the Way of Water did not break the first movie's like numbers, so it was downward trended. So I think we'll continue to see the decline, which I don't think the movies are going to get cheaper to make. I think they're going to become more expensive to make, and it's going to be worse.
They still make over $1 billion though.
Sure, I'm just saying that there's a downward trend, and I think that if they're going to, they've already committed to either 5 or 6 films. I can't remember which number it is, but I think it's 5 films total. So if they're gonna start off, they can't start off on the wrong foot if they're gonna make this a big franchise that they want to keep expanding. And I hope they don't stay with like Jake Sully for like all of the films.
Sully. Yeah, because it's the same story over and over again.
Yeah,
it's like
Unobtainium.
It's like, all right, so the Avatar movies do great in theaters. No one's talking about them ever.
No, they don't.
They don't have a cultural footprint whatsoever,
or rewatch value. Like, there's no way.
Really, no.
No, I mean, you go back and see. So, total transparency, I have seen both movies in theaters more than one time apiece. I saw The Way of Water twice in theaters. I saw the first movie probably 5 times in theaters. Once in 3D, which I walked out of because I can't do 3D. But honestly, the point is about related to China. It's if these 3 films, all 3 of them are going to probably be like successful. I don't know about The Amateur. That one might be a little too Jason Bourne for it to be a huge success.
Yeah, it's like I'm in the zeitgeist and I already forgot about it.
Exactly. So I don't think that you could expect the normies to go in numbers to The Amateur. Maybe. I mean, The Accountant did well, but that had Ben Affleck in it. So I mean, Ben Affleck has name pull. So I mean, that one I thought did pretty well. And
the second one's coming out too.
Yep, the second one's coming out. So with the tariffs coming, so the idea is that that China is doing this in retaliation for the tariffs, and it is impossible to keep up with news around the tariffs. By the time this becomes a video and we're talking about it, like, and it comes out later this week, there's probably going to be either World War III or civil war in the country or more tariffs. We're in the like thousands of percentile in tariff.
You can just picture Cartman from South Park just like yelling, "Trade war!
Trade war." But China's retaliation feels like a
Well,
gift.
I mean, it's like, all right, so China is not accepting Hollywood movies after these contracts, obviously. So they have multiple movies that are going to be released in China.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we're not going to take any more modern Hollywood films. It's like,
Well, they'll just steal
We're-
them. They'll just
we're almost right there with you. It's like, we don't want them either.
you can have them. We already thought they were doing this for you, so it's basically turning off the money. I'm fine with that. And this is the reason I really wanted to talk about this story was because of all the things that I voted for the tariffs for. This was something I did not see as like a potential like perk of the whole thing. I did not
This
see
is an upside, an accidental upside.
Hollywood getting like their movies banned in China was such an unexpected little gift. And I don't think that every film deserves to be like deserves to lose out, because I mean, we do see some movies in theaters that sometimes we're surprised by. I'm hoping that The Amateur is successful and that it's a good film. First off, I hope it's a good film. This isn't a review of
Because
it.
we want theaters to do well too.
We do. And
we like our own theaters.
but I do wish that theaters would go out of their way to be a little bit more innovative with the types of movies they bring in. Every movie that seems to be going into theaters is like a hit. It's like the worst option Disney had from their product catalog of ideas for what's going to go on their own streaming platform to build up money versus what they're going to dump into theaters. And it feels like they just dump things into theaters, but they put what they believe is going to be their best projects into their streaming platforms.
Well, I mean, like, get like theaters going again. Basically, you have to throw in old movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what would get people's asses in seats and be like, all right, do we throw out the Black Pearl?
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. That would be a great film to see.
Just
to re-see in theaters.
restart the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. I'd actually go and see that shit in theaters.
Well, we got the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or the Lord of the Rings release is going into theaters. You've told me about this, so
Revenge of the Sith 25th or 20th anniversary is coming up.
Oh, that's right. Right. Lord of the Rings was in December. That happened already. I was mixing the
We're
two
waiting
up.
for the 25th, huh?
Yep, the 25th. I'm excited. I'm really stoked to go see that in theaters. I hope I don't think they'll put it on the Ultra screen, but I hope they do. That would be really cool to take the Ultra screen away from whatever garbage is out right now. I think they could actually make easily.
Oh yeah. Just take it away from all these fucking teenagers throwing popcorn. Yeah.
We're gonna get into that story for sure.
Yeah.
But just to finish out the article and keep going on the topic, like, so the article raises the question: does this matter? And it answers its own question, not like it used to. While this partial China Hollywood ban is newsworthy, it may not cause the industry-wide panic some would expect. As detailed earlier this week, China has already lost relevance as a key box office market for many American films. In 2024, 42 U.S. titles were approved for Chinese theatrical release, a rebound from just 26 in 2021, but still below the pre-2020 levels or pre-2020 high of 52. So we obviously have this like metric by which we say that movies are trying to get into the Chinese markets, and so they're trying to get approved, and they'll do whatever they need to in films in order to get approved.
I mean, it's like, you know what does well overseas in China and whatnot? They say it right there. It's the monster on monster films or fucking Fast and Furious. And it's just these dumb fucking movies that are just two blocks of wood bashing against each other.
Yeah. That's what
That's what does well over there.
To be fair, that's what does well seemingly everywhere.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating thing, is that this is really a partially a cultural issue, because we brought up the fact that the Lion King Mufasa movie was successful, and that's frustrating as hell. We know that we know that the Minecraft movie is successful, and it was. It is. I mean, we both both know
I
that.
knew it was going to be.
I mean, it's definitely a movie people are bringing their kids to, and it's going to probably have legs and keep growing. Despite this trend we're going to talk about later in the podcast, but all that to be said, these movies are still not good films with good story. Like, they're still not great. Like, we had who was the reviewer who like left the theater for the Minecraft film? I'm sorry, I was watching his channel, and I cannot remember the name of his channel, but it was one of the Fellowship. They did a review on, or they walked out of the theater, live streamed from their car, said, I walked out of that movie, it was horrible, it was not for me, and then later does a stream where he's talking about the fact that the movie is so successful and so huge, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, it is, but I mean, it's obviously something you thought was so bad you walked out of the theater. So I mean,
Doesn't that like frustrate you though? Is like these types of movies, like I will gladly go to war with Fast and Furious and try to demolish its entire existence.
I will.
Like, doesn't it infuriate you that these kind of movies are the ones that are successful?
What's weird is I've had this conversation with you about Fast and Furious before, and when we talk about it, you put a little bit of a carve out in there for Tokyo Drift, but not 1 and 2.
Tokyo Drift is great.
It's not. The story sucks. Like, 4 movies came out within the same 5-year span with the exact same plot to the minute.
Soundtrack is ballers.
Soundtrack is great. But the first movie is actually the best one.
I will gladly destroy all, 10 of those films now?
I don't understand why you could give Tokyo Drift a carve out, but not the first one. The second one.
The first one's good. Second one, I've watched more than anything else because I had it on DVD back in the day.
Back in the day.
But yeah, 1, 2, and Tokyo Drift, they're all fine films or whatever. But I would gladly just get rid of that entire franchise.
I mean, I would be fine with that. I would take that trade off too. I would say, I still wish I would say in a vacuum, if I was a genie, I would wave a wand. 2, 3, and onward would go away, but the first one would still come out. That would make it technically not a franchise, just a successful, fun, good film.
What was that? Which Fast and Furious was the one that the ending took place on a airstrip? And the plane was taking off for 30 minutes.
That was, I want to say, okay, so there was 4, which was, I think, when they introduced The Rock.
No, that would have been 5.
Okay, so it was...
I think 4 was the bank vault with the Chargers, and they were slinging the bank vault around.
Yeah, I think you're right on this one. So
it's hard.
It is really difficult to try to pin down that story, because narratively it doesn't make any sense anywhere.
Last one I went to in theaters was the one where they were taking off in an airplane, and the takeoff took literally 30 minutes.
I know.
As Vin Diesel was just pounding people's heads and just family.
They really did go to war in that film. It was a assault on the airstrip.
It's like, we got that in theaters that does over $1 billion, but we can't have a good, Kingdom of Heaven or something.
We do have some information from Alan from Film Threat. Do you want to read this one?
I got some of the China box office numbers wrong. Here's an updated chart.
God damn it. I'm sorry.
What the fuck are
there we
you
go.
doing?
There you go. It's even better now.
Godzilla outperformed every other US film. I was like wondering which Godzilla. Avatar and Jurassic Park will be the only winners in China this year. Obviously.
Yeah, so China just is not going to be really relevant when it comes to breaking down the numbers for these American films. But, I mean, they're still making the movies with the hope and expectation of getting into China's market. It just, to date, they're not significant.
Oh, all right. So for July, there is Jurassic Park, the new one coming out.
Yay.
Superman and Fantastic. The
Fantastic Four movie. I mean, 4 is the word you're thinking of. You said the Fantastic.
The Fantastic. But Jurassic Park was betted to be the like highest grossing movie of that month. And now that China might
Not let it happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what would be the highest grossing one thing?
Do you think China would pass on a Superman movie? I mean, do you think so first off, let me
I think they'll pass it.
let me caveat my thoughts by saying I think Superman is the worst comic book character that exists.
Yes.
I think that's my position on it. I've been transparent about it. I think the movies can still be successful. I just think they tend towards not being great films. I'm hopeful that I am proven wrong on this Superman movie because I want this movie to be successful. I want this movie to exceed my expectations and be what we want from DC and from James Gunn, hopefully. So with all that context laid out, do you think that Superman is a big enough IP that China will feel compelled to put it into their theaters by just sheer demand?
Oh, not if they have not if Mao has the thing against Trump.
Yeah. Mao,
yeah.
Xi
Ping.
Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh.
He's not Mao yet. Jesus Christ.
You're everywhere. But I got you. I know
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I just
he got rid of and boycotted Winnie the Pooh because there were
making fun of him for it.
Yeah.
He does look like Winnie the Pooh.
Xi Jinping is very petty.
I agree. I think
so. Yeah, if it's a Superman and it's like if there's an American flag in it whatsoever, they would just be like, yeah, fuck this.
So we know that the okay, so just to kind of wrap up the story, we kind of give our own final thoughts on this, but I think that I'm so glad that China has just putting a ban on Hollywood films, and they're beginning to do that. I am perfectly content with that. I hope they never change their mind.
I'm okay with it.
I am too. I hope that American film industry recognizes that this country doesn't want any of your films anyway. So there's no reason to keep pandering to them.
Yeah, Hollywood can't rely on the foreign box office.
No, they cannot. Absolutely. So I think with that out of the way, let's jump into our next story. And we're going to be talking about, this one is news I am so freaking excited about. There has been a leak earlier in the week that there was Titanfall 3 was going to be coming out in 2026. And I am so hyped for it. First off, first-person shooters-wise, Titanfall, I'm going to talk about the first Titanfall because I didn't play a lot of the second one's multiplayer combat experience.
You played a lot of the first?
I played a ton of the first one. I loved the first game.
I have more second experience than...
I love the thing I didn't like about the second one was the customization I thought was overdone. I thought 3 basic Titans of the ability to kind of not swapping out your weapons that much, not using different abilities. I didn't think you needed abilities. I didn't think you needed all this extra stuff. I just thought you had a fast, a medium, and a tank. And I thought that was perfectly sufficient because these are just vehicles. They're not supposed to be a placeholder for your character. They're meant to be vehicles. Like you would get this same or a very similar experience by playing World at War when you had tanks enabled and you actually had the ability to destroy tanks. But they were also really powerful, and they were like.
So what you're saying is you don't like the option to basically personalize your own tank?
No, not mechanically.
Your own play style?
Not mechanically. I think that there's the ability to go like a speed build, a tank build, and a medium build. I thought that was perfectly sufficient. But I think you can't. I mean, you don't disagree that you can overdo a thing. So I mean. I think you can.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, so a thing can be overdone. I thought Titanfall 1 nailed it. I don't think any of the changes mechanically in Titanfall 2 improved the experience, and I would say they kind of lended to its downfall because now you have to develop a meta. Now you have to establish a meta in the game, whereas the light, medium, and when you have fewer classes, the meta is easier to keep tame from a development standard. So you don't have any incentive to make all these extra guns. If you wanted customization, it should be your character, your player model. That's the thing that should be customized. If you want to be someone who hunts Titans, you should equip Titan hunting weapons. If you want to be someone who hunts players, you should equip player hunting weapons. If you want to grind on the all the NPC grunts that are on the ground, you should work on that stuff. Your mechanics should not be You shouldn't be customizing your tanks for combat. There's so few first-person shooters where you get into a vehicle and you get to customize how the vehicle behaves. So like,
That's what made Titanfall so great, though.
well, I will say that I
I
think
won't say that's the only thing, but that was one of the things.
I thought the wall running Titan was just epic. I felt like really like immersed when they were whenever the Titans dropped. When the drop-ins in the first game were so fucking cool. I was so hyped about that. I thought that was the sickest shit. You actually were able to try to drop a Titan on top of an enemy Titan. So
what did you feel about Titanfall 2's campaign?
I thought it was short. I wanted more.
Obviously,
Yeah,
it's a first-person shooter campaign.
it was short. I wanted a lot more. I thought it was good though. I liked the way they did the
Like, how would you compare it to the Call of Duties? 'Cause, all right, this dropped. What did Titanfall 2 dropped when? 16?
that sounds right, but I have no clue. I couldn't
Well,
tell
it
you.
would have been when Battlefield 1, because EA dropped both of them at the same time.
Right. I'm not sure. We'll have to dig into that a little bit further. But how did I feel when
like comparing Titanfall 2's campaign to Call of Duty's campaign
so
across the board?
I'll answer so I'll dig the question in. Call of Duty is hit or miss. It's either one of the greatest campaigns that's ever existed or one of the worst. And I could point to Ghosts, you could point to Infinity War, or Infinite War. Advanced Warfare I thought was really good. It had a really good campaign. I personally, I understand that there's a lot of love for the Black Ops campaigns, but I personally did not care for them. But I thought Modern Warfare's campaign was amazing. It's like, I think peak. I think it's up there among the top 5 best campaigns stories that's ever been told.
The OG.
The OG. Then you have
2016.
Yeah. Then you have I would say Ghost or like Call of Duty Ghosts, and you have Infinite War that I thought their campaigns were not that great.
So Modern Warfare 3 wraps up basically and it's like, all right, we had the GOAT first person shooter campaign with Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3. And then it was just a desert when it came to first person shooter campaigns, even though Call of Duty is dropping one every year. Nothing really goes up to the hype of, let's say, even Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
So it's like we're in that desert at that point, and then Titanfall 2 drops with an excellent fucking campaign.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They themselves downplayed the shit out of their campaign. It was, you remember this. This was when...
It was a side note.
Yeah. First-person shooter games were making every effort possible to cut out campaigns. They were trying to cut them down or get rid of them entirely, because this is also, I think, the same... This is also when you started to see the shift to Battle Royale gameplay. And so every game was trying to get rid of their campaigns so they could focus on Battle Royale to make the V-Bucks. So you don't have a lot of competition in the market anymore for or for storytelling in video games. I would say that this still carries the day as far as like campaigns that I've experienced in this modern generation of gaming. I would say I thought that I thought the story was simple, clean, easy to follow. It's been told before, so I wouldn't say it's a super unique storyline, but I thought the setting added a lot of value to what they were doing in it. And you do get an emotional buildup in it, and you do get a good payoff from the story at the end of it. So short story, but good story. And I thought it was, I really liked it. And I think Respawn did a great job.
What would you consider Respawn dropping this third installment? Would it be, I don't want to use COD Killer because like...
We learned a lesson from X Defiant. Yeah.
But would it be the next best thing? It's like, because I remember in 2016 when this dropped originally, Battlefield 1 dropped, and Battlefield 1 was one of the best fucking things that ever fucking happened.
Keep that question locked and loaded in your brain, because we do need to discuss that in more detail. I just want to get through the source of the leak real quick, and then I think we should talk about everything the game is going to include before we compare it. Or the leaks are saying it should include. So the article goes on to say 2 leakers in the Apex Legends community have sparked excitement and skepticism in equal measure as they claim a reliable source has told them Titanfall 3 is coming. Apex Legends leaker known as Osvaldator and Yorotsuki reignite discussions about Respawn developing Titanfall 3, claiming it will be released in 2026. The article goes on to talk about it, and we actually have the original source here. So from Osvaldator, more info on Titanfall 3. Developed in the Unreal Engine 5. It's near completion. It will have a single-player campaign. It will be a live service game with battle passes. The main mode will be extraction. Other modes, team deathmatch, control, arenas, the classic modes, some returning Apex characters, and a weather system. And people are like, the mixed reviews are pretty much dead even because you have a lot of people who are complaining about Unreal Engine 5 being the engine that's being used. I love this one.
Well, that'd be a controversy.
So the Unreal Engine 5 is responsible for like Assassin's Creed Shadows, right?
Yeah.
Like the controversies and the frustrations from a lot of players in the gaming community who are paying super close attention to Unreal comes from the fact that Unreal is so focused on graphics and environmental structure and less so on original gameplay and cool custom mechanics or unique mechanics in their experience. So
certain things that they can't do if they're using the Unreal 5 engine, because they can't make, say, like unique or just innovative gameplay with the Unreal 5 because it won't allow it.
Well, yes. So there's Unreal Engine 5 can be coded, so you can go in with original code and you can do it. But it seems like a lot of development studios are just jumping into Unreal Engine 5 and using it because it's a cost-effective way and because it's kind of becoming a industry standard tool that more developers are trained on, so they can get they have an easier time training their people to use it. But it does, I mean, you have people who are saying, look, Unreal Engine 5 extraction shooter, they're just posting, I'm out. They're not playing it. So people are just not interested in another Unreal game. And then there's people who are just complaining about the fact that we've heard Titanfall from Respawn was going to be coming back to the forefront, and Respawn, they've played chicken with this idea before, where they've brought the idea forward to the community and then received backlash and then had to put out like a response saying, hey, Titanfall is a part of our core DNA. This is what we are here to do. It would be cool to see a Titanfall project in the future, and it'll be coming, but we don't have anything in the works right now. So they've told us that this is that they have not been working on a Titanfall 3 project. So these leakers contradict the official narrative. But we know how untrustworthy the official narrative can be, and we know how unreliable leakers can be, so it is a coin toss here.
I mean, isn't Respawn fucking busy with Apex Legends and also bringing out the next Jedi Fallen Order Survivor, whatever that is?
I don't know about the Star Wars stuff. I assume
they
so.
have enough
bandwidth,
like people.
Well, when was Titanfall 2 out?
16.
So they shut down they did shut down the servers for multiplayer last year, right?
They all went to
Apex.
Yeah.
So they have not had any like resources significantly dedicated publicly towards Titanfall, but it's been long enough since the sequel, and if it's Unreal Engine 5, they're going to be able to port in and produce something relatively quickly for a major studio. And, quickly doesn't mean good. So,
I mean, they got the resources because they're backed by EA, which is good and bad.
Exactly.
It's like you got the money, but you're backed by the shittiest gaming company.
Yep. Well, we do also have to give EA credit for Titanfall because when they make a successful game, it's not like we can just pretend it's not a good or successful game. But
it's just some dude. Like you can just picture a dude with a shitload of money. And it's like, all right, I'm giving these companies money to do said things. So it's like
they put their name on it.
You can't give credit to EA of Titanfall 2 or Battlefield 1 or whatever the fuck.
It's the actual studio developing it, not the production, not the company producing it. Dude, this is how much people are not into Unreal Engine 5.
I didn't know this was controversy.
No, Unreal Engine 5 is Okay, let me clarify my position. I have used and gone through like trainings on Unreal Engine 5 to try to see what I can do with it and see where like where the wall is for me and trying to figure out what I can do. It's relatively intuitive to learn how to use, but Unreal Engine 5 has been the core engine inside of every flop from the last couple of years. Like
well, from what I know, what it's used for is mostly like narrative driven, story driven games. That's what they use it for, instead of games that focus on gameplay instead.
Yeah, I couldn't say definitively what like the incentive for major developers is. It seems like it's a combination of cost and simplicity, but and I mean, you could hire, it's easier to hire staff if every one of them has been trained on this industry standard. So,
I was gonna say, weren't they using the Frostbite engine? But no, that's for Battlefield.
I think, yeah, that sounds right. I couldn't say what engine they use for the OG games, but I will.
I don't remember what they used for Titanfall 2.
Yeah, but people's skepticism is here too. We got another one right here. It's like, don't give me hope. It's like, I want Titanfall 3 more than most things right now. Like, I would love Titanfall 3 to come out and be good. That's what I would. You have to put a caveat on every new game you want.
Well, we just want a good, multiplayer shooter. That's not Call of Duty, because Call of Duty always. Black Ops 6 came out. We loved it at first, and then it just dropped right back into the old habits of fucking Call of Duty, to where it's like, all right, this isn't Call of Duty anymore. So it's like, we would like a good first-person shooter multiplayer.
I think it's important to now we get to engage directly with your original question, which was, can this thing defeat Call of Duty? I think that there is potential for so many games to defeat Call of Duty, or to put Call of Duty in the ground. I think about how fast Bud Light nearly went solvent, and they just got their asses whooped. And now they're fine. I mean, they've adjusted their numbers now. They're not going to get a lot of people back, but they're fine. And we saw Ubisoft get defeated. Ubisoft basically was their own worst enemy, and they destroyed themselves.
They tried.
I think Call of Duty could. I think Black Ops 6 was what Call of Duty needed to pull a lot of people back, and they did that. Then they just went right back to their old ways. So, the COD boycott for me is still fresh in my mind again. I'm right back on that bandwagon. Gave Black Ops 6 a shot, and I feel I'm pretty much back where I was before Black Ops 6.
I was going through the top 100 of streamed
video games
on Steam, and I'm not seeing Black Ops unless I just missed it.
Well, I don't know.
Number 100 is The Last Berserker.
Isn't COD in its own portal? Like, wouldn't Black Ops 6 be in its own portal?
Is it on Steam?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't remember if it is or isn't. I'm guessing it probably is, but it could go either way in my mind. I know there's plenty of games that are.
Fuck yeah, I missed it. It's number 14 right now.
Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
So think about
Apex is above it.
So Apex is currently beating Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Rivals beating Call of Duty. Schedule 1 is beating Call of Duty. I mean,
Schedule 1's 3.
Yeah.
4 right now.
So all of these games are defeating Call of Duty in a snapshot, right? Like in the world of COD. Like,
it's like, do we even need to talk about a Call of Duty killer when Call of Duty is basically killing itself? It's like, no one plays it, no one talks about it in our circle, I would say. It's like, no one cares about COD whatsoever.
And some of the biggest streamers who I've seen and followed and looked at their content recently, they've all moved on to Rivals, or they're trying new projects. They're not going and doing the same Call of Duty thing they've been doing. You got people who are playing both Fortnite and Call of Duty who have just opted out of Call of Duty and are just playing Fortnite. Then you have players who are playing Apex. You're playing other variety of games.
Call of Duty is just Warzone now. That's the most popular thing.
Well, that's all Call of Duty has provided the community with support on, right? Like COD took forever to give us good mods or good maps in Black Ops 6. By the time they were starting to try to give us more stuff in Black Ops 6, I was already done. I'm like, these maps suck. I don't want to keep playing on these maps. You need to give us more maps or I'm out. They gave us not Rust. Nuketown. They gave us Nuketown, but I can only play Nuketown so many times in a row before I'm done. And honestly, I thought the mechanics were good. I felt very, very good about it, but they just don't want to provide the community with the things the community wants, and they require themselves to get political and get motivated by the message, and it's frustrating as hell. I can only do that so often. Now, what I think the core of your question is there going to be another arcade shooter experience that will supplant Call of Duty as the one to go to? I would make the case that, yeah, I think this could do it. I think a lot of people are just looking for a fun gaming experience. I think Respawn has the potential and EA has the resources.
Yeah, I think the door is open because Call of Duty is it. I don't know if it's not dead. Obviously, it's in the top 20.
It's not
stream games.
Yeah, and it won't go anywhere for a long time.
There is room for someone to compete or take the mantle or whatever. It's
like when you see someone on the dance floor who's been dancing horribly all night, but they have a shit ton of confidence and people keep blowing smoke their way and hyping them up. And then someone who just is a slightly better dancer gets on the dance floor, and then everyone changes their mind, is like, oh, that looks horrible compared to this guy who actually is a little bit better. That's all we need. We just need someone who's a little bit better mechanically than Call of Duty.
Which isn't hard.
No, it shouldn't be this difficult to actually have someone who wants to compete in the arcade shooter space.
When it comes to shooters, would you say Destiny had better shooting or Call of Duty?
Call of Duty. I wouldn't say it's even close. I think so think about it this way. The pistols in Destiny and the snipers in Destiny, horrible. You can't have two entire subclasses just be unusable unless you have this like weird autism that just makes you capable of using it. You can't do that.
Weaponized autism.
It's the same reason, like for me, Halo, if you need to jump, if you connect every bullet in the standard rifle with your opponent and you must reload in order to finish off the kill, that's too many bullets. You can't use a clip and a half or a magazine and a half in order to kill an opponent. And I always hated Halo's multiplayer.
3 was GOAT. Anything after that was, yeah.
Well, and I think Call of Duty went away from their own good mechanics. Their best mechanics were Modern Warfare, the OG Modern Warfares. Those were the best mechanics they ever had for fighting. Because you had quicker time to die, but you got rid of no sliding mechanics, no double jump, we didn't need all these extra physics inside of your game. We didn't need the gun behaviors like tactical shooter. Now it's to the point where weapon customization is like fucking math. You have to do math in order to get your gun to be meta or to be even competitively relevant in the multiplayer experience. That's horrible. Like, I understand there's people who want to work that fucking hard to play, but I don't want to do math. I just want to turn off my brain and shoot some people. You know?
Well, yeah, and you're
like Uvalde.
Constantly directed down three alleys or whatever. And there is no, like, if you're going to be a sniper, then you're a gung-ho sniper that does 360 no-scopes. Yeah. There is no just, like, sniper, just chill in the back kind of class. No. Because the respawns change all the time because people are constantly fucking just rotating.
Exactly. And there are, I thought that Modern Warfare 2019 was actually really good. I thought the maps were awesome. I liked, was it Shootout or Kill House? Not what I can't remember the map that's like, it has a junkyard on one side, it has an office overseeing some shipping containers, and a single lane down the middle with a half wall where snipers would just keep shooting at each other right down the middle. It's sort of like a yellowish color map.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What is it called, right? Exactly. Yeah. So, but my point being, and then you also had the superstore. I thought that was a good map. Call of Duty 2019 Modern Warfare 2019 had some good maps in it, and I thought the mechanics were really good too. So I'd say, if anything, that was a really nice compromise middle ground area, but I did not get the impression that anything was improving or getting better. Everything felt like it's getting so much worse. So
yeah, I remember from the get-go when it came to Blob 6, it's like everything's great, but you and multiple people are just like, the maps are shit.
Yeah.
And it just never got better.
So honestly, with all of this being said, so I talked earlier about how Titanfall 3 keeps getting leaked. Like, this is not the first time we've heard that Titanfall 3 is in the works. One of the directors or coordinators over at Respawn made a comment, and then he says, "Don't get your so during a live stream, don't get your hopes up. I've said this before. We don't have anything in the works. There's nothing. We've got too many other games in the works right now." So that's to your point. That's 2021. That's to your point. Like the like Jedi Survivor, and then or the other
Respawn's got a lot.
Respawn's got other projects. So and in 2021 we're coming off of COVID, or things are settling down for COVID. Respawn's got some success with those Star Wars projects, and Titanfall 2 is still, the servers are still up in 2021 if I'm remembering correctly the timeline. I could be mistaken on that, but
they came and gone so many times.
Well, and then Respawn puts out a Respawn has to put out a comment. Contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? Period. So
well, you know what I heard this bit of like throwing out a Titanfall 3 to reinvigorate the interest in Apex, because Apex and Titanfall somehow, I don't know how,
you don't know what their core connection is.
They are connected.
Yeah.
And so like they want to put out a Titanfall 3 to get another boost of interest into Apex.
I wonder,
so like even if they do put out a Titanfall 3,
yeah,
it's Respawn. It's gonna be like a second thought. It's not gonna be like their main focus or anything. It's not gonna be so like, because their number one thing is Apex. That brings in all the money,
right?
And then they have Jedi whatever.
So, yeah, I think that, yeah, that's definitely got to be the marketing strategy behind this. If this is like a planned leak where it was intentional, because game studios will do that. Sometimes they'll just find a reporter who wants a scoop, and they'll give him a crumb and see where that goes just to test the waters. But when it comes to this guy, he's had some Asvaldator, he's had some reputable leaks in the past. He's been right about a few things. Others landed flat. So when he's right, he's 100% right. When he's wrong, he's 100% wrong. So
he's wrong. He could have been right, and therefore he's still right.
No, that's just you. But Titanfall 3.
I know it could be good or whatever, but it's gonna be like the third thing on their list of shit to do.
Well, and I don't personally have a huge issue with any of the things that are being reported as coming out. Like the weather system, the Apex characters coming out, I don't care. It's not a thing I get excited about. I don't get hard about Apex characters coming into the game. Yeah, but it also doesn't feel like
name one.
No, I can't. But it also just doesn't feel like a problem either. Team deathmatch, control, arenas, love all that. Main mode being extraction, that's still the best mode, I thought, from the original. Live service with battle pass, I don't care. I'm probably not gonna spend the money, but I wouldn't anyway. Like I wouldn't play for the battle pass. Single player campaign, if they can, I mean, their single player campaigns in Star Wars are good. People like those.
Oh yeah, people love fucking Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. Yeah. I fucking love them.
So Respawn can tell a good story. So I'm optimistic. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. If they want to put a single player campaign into Titanfall 3, I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I hope it's good. I have no reason to question whether they will or won't make a bad campaign. I think they can, obviously. And if it's coming in 2026, I like that timeline. Yeah. Hopefully it drops right on top of a Call of Duty release.
The next Call of Duty one?
I'd be fine with that. Well,
what would be the next Call of Duty?
Well, they just did a Black Ops, so they probably won't do that. They probably won't do another Modern Warfare. So they'll probably have to,
because they did Modern Warfare 3 and it failed spectacularly.
I think they're gonna have to. They were obviously not getting rid of Warzone. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, but this actually, I had this question in my mind earlier.
World War II too.
Right, I had this question in my mind earlier, and I got to get it out before I forget. Apex Legends. I've only played the Battle Royale Apex Legends a couple of times. Very small. I don't claim to be an expert on that game or know anything about it. But what I would wonder is, in a general sense, in a colloquial sense, for a Battle Royale game, how cool would it be if you had that open world Battle Royale experience and you had Titans fucking dropping in? Like
That actually
the wheels are turning in your head, right?
Yeah,
Like
that actually might get me into a battle royale because I don't play battle royale. I fucking just
you don't like the genre.
No, I don't know how they got so goddamn popular, but
Free.
Yeah.
They were free. That was how they got
True.
popular. They were free.
Fortnite's fucking fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it'd be cool, Respawn drops another Titanfall 3.
Yep.
Cool. But it has potential, but it's not going to hit that because Respawn has two other IPs that are way more popular that bring in a shitload more money.
If they get a third, though, that puts them above the curve for a lot of for a lot of studios, though. If Titanfall becomes,
but they're run by EA, and EA just doesn't give a fuck.
I know, but Respawn, there was a lot of love for CD Projekt Red before they went completely nuts and cuckoo bananas and started to ruin their own reputation. So I mean, if you have Respawn falling, the audience falls back into love with the actual studio and responsible for it. We have seen other studios break away from major production companies when they've had a successful game before. So it's not like a long list, but there's precedent. It's happened before. So if we see,
that's actually a hopeful fucking.
It's a thought, right? It's an interesting thought.
It's a hopeful thought. It's like
hopeful as shit.
Respawn becomes so successful in their 3 IPs that they just break away from the heel of EA.
The hardest thing for them. The hardest thing for them to do would, the hardest thing for them to do would be to retain the rights to Star Wars. I mean, that'd be the hardest thing for them to do as an independent studio out south of EA. But if they can sell themselves,
Apex and Titanfall are their own IPs.
Yeah. So if they can retain the rights to Star Wars, they shouldn't have any real major struggle breaking away if Titanfall 3 is successful.
That'd be cool.
It would be super cool.
Because it gives me more hope to all right, so BioWare's dead.
Yeah.
And
Ubisoft is defeated.
Now we get a new thing.
Well, and Ubisoft's dead, but it's really Tencent now, so it's going to be.
Ubisoft's been dead for.
They're going to find a way to. Tencent's going to find a way to get them back into the forefront with their IPs. Those IPs are still too popular, and people are going to forget about this, and it's going to be a one-off bad run from Ubi. They're going to think about it in 10 years, like Ubisoft had a bad era of games, and then they got fixed by Tencent. So
yeah, I mean, when it comes to AAA,
quadruple A. Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to be a quadruple A game.
Yeah. Now that my titans in the gaming industry have all but fallen,
yep,
I would like Respawn to just pick up because they've been capable in storytelling and whatnot. Because I'm a narrative game kind of guy.
Yeah. And
Respawn has that potential. So I would love for them to just pick up the pieces.
That would be really cool.
I would.
Titanfall 1 had so much potential. Like, Titanfall 1 was a blockbuster. That was huge. It was
Titanfall 2 was a blockbuster. But EA released it in the same fucking day that Battlefield 1 dropped.
And Battlefield 1 was awesome. Like, it was a huge success. Yeah. So we got one last story to get into today, and this one's could be kind of. I hope we have some fun with this one. I don't think we need to take this one so serious. And let's just have some fun with it. The story goes: Minecraft blows up the box office while Snow White falls to 4th. The modern audience just sent Hollywood a message, and it was not the message.
It's not the message, but it's a fucking.
It's a sad message. It's sad. Let's not get depressed about this. Let's just have some. Let's just laugh about this. Let's laugh about Snow White being trash.
Sigh.
Okay. So, sets of context. Minecraft movie. Some of the reviewers we've talked about who have looked at the movie objectively outside of like the target audience and everything like that have said this movie is not a great film. Then you have it's like contrary to those reviews, have the movie blowing up. Opening weekend like tripled Snow White's opening weekend. Wasn't it like 300 million or something opening weekend?
Oh, I don't even know the opening weekend, but I know Snow White hasn't. It's just reached over 100.
Yeah, it just cracked. It just cracked either 100 or 200. I'm guessing
it's not 200.
Then I'm guessing, yeah, then it's got to be 100 because Snow White just died. Yeah, because the movie had a $157 million opening, so not opening weekend. It got in one day, got an opening day versus the opening weekend or the entire runtime of Snow White.
It's very good for theaters, but it's also shit at the same time because you have to fucking basically Uber fucking new janitors come in because these fucks of a kid are just throwing popcorn all the time.
Do we want to start with the trend? Is that where we should start with? Because the movie itself is
it's up to you.
Let's go.
We've already talked about this. Is like, all right, cool. Minecraft did well. We all knew it would do well. It's good for theaters, but it's setting the trend. And I talked about this with like the Fast and Furious. Like, I don't want this movie to do good because it sets a precedent
that trash movies will be successful. I mean, this is the standard. This is the standard now for young kid movies. They're not going to have fucking good stories in them.
Are dumb as shit.
I've kind of grown to understand what makes Inside Out successful. Like, you know, those kids movies. I know you haven't watched them, but you know what they are. Yeah, you know of them. I didn't expect those to be good. I really thought that they were going to be this kind of like, you need to understand your emotions and like this super plea to like anti-toxic masculinity and like keeping your anger under control and stuff. And I thought that was going to be the only thing. But I am understanding that it is more of like just a coming of age like storyline where they're just saying, generally speaking, it's good to just have
with your emotions while growing up.
Yeah. And I understand that. Like movies like that, I totally appreciate that. That's the thing that should be given to the younger generation. And I probably jumped on the hate wagon for that one too quickly. Minecraft, the younger generation, this is their game. This is what they love.
But there's no substance.
No,
it's like, all right, okay. So Mahler talks about this all the time. When it comes to like kids movies and whatnot, it's like, oh, so you're what, 30-year-olds angry at a fucking kids movie that's made for 8-year-olds? It's like, yes, because it doesn't have to be dumb for a kids movie. Kids movies don't have to be retarded.
Yeah, you're right. They don't. I mean, we had Snipeaholic Tyler on the channel before. He was coming on the podcast, and he would talk about how Bluey is, you know, it's a kids show, but it actually touches some adult themes. And when we were growing up, that was commonplace. Movies and shows, they were silly at times, but they often touched on like adult or like older topics, and like you actually had great. I'm thinking about.
Well, it's like you can run the gambit of like just name a fucking Disney movie before 2000.
Yeah, I mean
every single one of them is more like adult and just had.
But it's still made for kids. I mean,
yeah, but it's not retarded.
No, it's not. It's just well thought out. I mean, you don't need to put dumb stuff in front of kids. I totally understand that. We've already I think it makes sense that this film exists and that this film is blowing up. I agree with you that I would prefer that there actually be some good movies. And I like the argument to substance because I think you're right. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's, I think, the strongest argument against this film and against other films like it. But the movie exists. We're in the timeline we are. Yeah. We're going to keep saying, unfortunately, we're not going to sing its praises just because it made money. That's not like how that works. Like, it's a good or a bad story on its own, isolated from the like the dollar amount. Like, how much money a movie makes does not determine the quality of the story or film.
Well, yeah, Avatar.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the story we have in front of us, Minecraft director reacts to movie's success and that insane chicken jockey trend. It's just a bonanza. So the chicken jockey trend, there's a scene in the film where you have Jason Momoa's characters in a ring, and the chicken jockey is a very famous and iconic like thing from the Minecraft game where the baby zombie rides the chicken. And so I know this.
I don't know if that's...
You don't... It's a thing. It's
okay.
It's a thing. Famous YouTubers have done it. Like,
you know a lot more about Minecraft.
I wish I didn't, but I know at least I understand what I'm looking at when I see this. It's not like I care. I'm invested in the chicken jockey, but I do understand what I'm seeing on the screen at least. So the TikTok trend, we're gonna go to an example of this and play it for you guys. If it was the bottom one here, so let's get some sound here. Didn't that... Oh, refresh. They just destroyed that theater. So this is apparently commonplace.
Why is that a thing? Because someone says something, therefore let's throw a fuckload of popcorn? I don't understand it.
So they're just so in the movie, Jack Black yells chicken jockey, and it's meant
Cool.
Well, you're asking the question. You want, then I gotta answer it.
No, that would be my response to that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, even if I knew it, it'd be like, all right, cool.
Right. But the shouting and the call out is the thing that they're jumping onto. So that's what they are. That's the thing. That's their trigger word for doing the trend itself. It's not like throwing popcorn and raging over this is nothing to do with Minecraft. It has nothing to do with like.
It's just TikTok trend.
It's just a TikTok trend. It's just dumb teenagers just ruining everyone's weekend. So yeah. So what how the trend works is we're gonna articulate this to all of you guys. I don't do it. Wink. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Don't do it. Don't do it. Sorry. But so
what are you looking at me?
I'm just winking at the camera. Just winking at the camera. But yeah, so people are going to the film. When that scene happens, they throw popcorn all over the theater and all over, and everyone who's a part of the trend just shouts chicken jockey along with Jack Black in the film. So the theaters have actually gotten involved calling the police on people, and it's kind of freaking insane.
They've been shutting down theaters, like, if that shit happens, because, like, they have cops on standby now for
Yeah.
showings of, which is such a juxtaposition of, like, all right, Dark Knight, someone's going to pretend to be the Joker or some shit.
Yeah.
And shoot up a theater, and it's like, all right, all these cunts are going to throw fucking popcorn instead.
Yeah, I mean, as far as pranks go, totally harmless, but ridiculous.
It's not harmless.
I mean, it is. I mean, it doesn't. I'm saying I'm using harm in the literal sense. No one is hurt. No one is hurt by it, and it doesn't. I'm not condoning it or using sophistry. I'm just being literal. The frustrating. Yeah, it is frustrating. It's stupid. It makes everyone's weekend worse. It ruins the film experience for everyone who's going there. It
actually delay showings because of the cleanup that they have to do afterwards.
I doubt it. Okay, so I see what you're asking. I don't think so. I mean, you clean popcorn, whether there's one kernel of popcorn on the ground or a million kernels of popcorn on the ground, you clean it up the same way. You're just a little bit more of it. And you know the like sit down time before a movie starts is a long time at our theater.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's common everywhere, but
Very true.
there's still like 30 minutes before a showing. So yeah, I think that's probably fine too, but it doesn't mean that the movie isn't ruined for the people who are there to enjoy it. So yeah, don't do it. It's stupid. It's ridiculous and dumb. You're ruining the experience for kids too.
Do you go to the movie just for that fucking line to throw popcorn to and make it? It's like, oh, our video's going to hit TikTok or some shit.
Yeah, it's boring and lame. It's not like even something that's cool or interesting to like see happen. It's just the reason we're talking about it is because the police are fucking called.
Yeah, it's almost like that trend of like people, YouTubers just trying to get fame by like pranking people, and the pranks are just super destructive or whatnot.
If you guys like, if people keep doing this,
no, it's just a prank. It's just a prank.
You know, if people keep doing this, the public outcry is going to reach politicians who are going to make stricter, more enforcing, like harder enforcing laws. There was the guy in England, I think, where he just stole someone's dog and like was doing it on camera. I'm just like, dude, if they had guns.
Oh, they stole that homeless dude's dog.
They stole no, it was an old lady who was walking her small dog on a leash, and they just like came up, took the leash out of her hand, picked up the dog, and ran away. And that same guy just strolled through some people's home, like just walked through from the front door to the back door, just strolled through a person's home
Squatters
while
rights.
streaming. Well, they didn't squat, but they just walked through a home, like
it's just a prank.
Yeah, all of that stuff. It's going to become its own law. Like you break individual laws, but there is going to be a more strict and a more specific version of public nuisance that is going to come down from on high, and we're not going to want that. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want these people to be locked up for the crimes they commit. And I
I
think
also don't want our new generation of people to be triggered by a word to throw fucking popcorn up in the air.
agreed. Well, think about like us. We had Jackass growing up, but that didn't mean we went around like messing with people.
I didn't kick every person I saw in the balls.
You know what? Here's a fair point, or here's a fair counter to what I just fair counter that just kind of came into my head. We also didn't have a social media that existed the way it does today. This younger generation is locked in a world of social media, and this is how they like build social rep with each other. So I understand that. So I don't know the fix here. I don't know the fix. More people get thrown in jail. I guess
No,
like send a message. Johnny Somali should have been the wake up call. Like what happened with that, and we didn't even cover that story. We just came up, but
that Russian dude is getting time instead.
Instead, what do you mean instead?
Instead of Johnny Somali he was aggravating the public and whatnot. He was doing that in South Korea and Japan.
Yep.
And Vlad. I think it was Vlad went to the Philippines and started doing that shit.
Oh,
he stole a gun off of a fucking cop or a patrol officer and whatnot and tried to steal his bike and whatnot. So he's up to 24 years in jail. But it's just.
Well, Johnny's doomed too. When you said instead, I got confused because Johnny's also going to be in jail forever.
But it's like, when it comes to like public decency and whatnot, it's like, do we set a precedent for that or not?
Well, here's my so I have several qualms with it. First Amendment violation by saying that a person can't use their can't film or use their phones. It depends on how the law is written, but I could see some overarching verbiage that says you can't film people in public, and that like infringes on like the First Amendment, infringes on journalism. I have a huge bone to pick with that. I don't know how the law could be written in a way that doesn't infringe on the First Amendment, because almost categorically it has to do with streaming. It has to do with like making, like recording. So you're going to be using a camera.
About being a public nuisance.
Public disturbance. There's like noise ordinances. There are like
it varies.
There is
by city.
I think you can be a disturbance, but the police cannot be the complainant. So I don't know the laws about this, so I could be just getting everything like incorrect. But
it's like, can we hang a nuisance?
Generally speaking, there are laws that are for disturbance, but I don't know overarching what those are. So it'll depend. It'll depend on state. I don't think there's a federal law against like being a public nuisance. And I don't know how I would want that written in a way that like, doesn't cover everything else.
Slope.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, all right, this person's been an asshole and he's been disturbing people for stream and whatnot. And it's like,
what you need,
just leave it to the jury to be like, all right, this dude's a fucking
what you need.
dip.
What you need is a culture of retaliation.
Bring back the guilt.
You need a retaliatory culture.
It needs to be punched in the face.
Yeah, when someone's in your face, messing with you, giving you a hard time, pushing you, throwing shit at you, messing with you, taking your dog, the response is to fight them. Like, you retaliate. The only reason this goes on is because the culture is so soft that it never punishes them for the bad behavior. Dogs fucking know this. A dog can't just go up to another dog in a pack and just start fucking with it. The other dogs will put that thing in the ground and he'll be taught.
Yeah, but these motherfuckers are basically like elevated on social media for doing dumb shit like what we're talking about with the Minecraft movie and shit. Just doing dumb shit like that.
I think that what you could do is remove the protections that the social media companies have that promotes that. So like right now they have protections, right? There's things you can't sue or can't go after YouTube for because of the content on their platform, right? Like I can't sue YouTube because someone on the platform is saying mean things about me.
Right.
But if there were, and that's because they have protections. If you remove those protections and made YouTube and TikTok and all these platforms accountable to civil lawsuit based on like types of content they put on there, because the government has no obligation to protect your platform from people who criticize the platform. It's
no,
like,
that's actually a good point. It's like government shouldn't be involved in any of these cases, really. If someone's being a twat, it should be up to said individual to put that person in his place.
agreed.
But then the state gets involved after said action.
Well, so here's a question. So like, does the state have an interest in curbing gambling? Does the state have an interest in curbing prostitution? Does the state
It depends on the income that comes from those.
if they make enough, if they tax prostitution enough, they can, like, it's like
take
but this is
fucking Nevada for.
well, yeah, but I thought I thought Nevada had a carve out. I thought there was something about Nevada that made them special with related to Vegas. I don't know, but you
can do anything you want as long as you spend enough in a casino.
So that's the question. Does the government have an interest, a significant enough interest to justify getting involved? But ultimately, all they would have to do is just pull the extra protections that social media companies enjoy. So if you just pulled those protections, those legal protections, I think that everything would course correct, or social media would die, which would also be a net positive for the country, for the culture, for everybody, including our channel getting nuked from everything. That would still be a net positive for society. It as a fact, not as I would prefer to keep this platform and keep going. I like what we're doing, and I hope you guys do too. But it would be a net good for society if all social media platforms were destroyed through just a consistent barrage of litigation for all the crap they're doing. That's I would say that that's just a truism. I wouldn't say that I could make a good argument against it.
Oh yeah, you're just like arguing.
The sky is blue.
Yeah.
Social media companies are bad. The sky is blue. It's like these are just truisms. Doesn't mean I want social media to be
insane.
I don't necessarily want social media to be nuked. I don't have a clever fix or like a perfect prescription of how to address the issue. But we can all identify the issue. So they incentivize bad behavior.
I know social media is horrible for everyone, and it's a boon to the not boon, but it's a detriment to society. It's like on my own core values, like there's a right to exist, and you can do whatever it wants, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's like these dumb kids.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, all they have. If you wanted to run a successful business,
I mean, I probably would have been one of those dumb kids. Actually,
I don't think so. I mean,
looking back, and
we fucked up a bunch when we were kids, but we messed up.
Yeah,
plenty
but
of shit.
We didn't grow up. We grew up with Facebook was the biggest thing.
Right, but also if you and I both knew that if we went and like walked down Main Street and pulled out squirt guns and we were messing with people, we'd be chased and probably get our asses whooped.
Yeah, we still wouldn't have been assholes that just throw popcorn.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you for not teaching that to me. We got one last topic or one last thing to cover on the Minecraft thing, and I think we could probably wrap up. But the story goes on. Gen Z just crowned their own IP. The success of Minecraft proves that younger audiences will show up, but only for content made with them in mind and IPs that actually resonate with them. This wasn't a nostalgia trip or a lecture about modern values wrapped in a fairy tale packaging. This was an unapologetic Gen Z power play, just like Barbie captured a female audience with a franchise they grew up loving. Minecraft landed with boys and young men who have lived in a pixelated world for over a decade. In fact, 43% of the audience was aged 18 to 24, 35% 13 to 17, 57% of tickets were bought day of, proving the market was hitting exactly when and where it needed to. So honestly, yeah, that's just true. Again, it sucks that this is the type of content that they are going to love for the next several generations, but it's true. They love it. It calls out to them. They feel like that it gravitates and pulls them towards the theater. And if this is the kind of thing that will help theaters survive until we can course correct, I mean, I would rather theaters live and there be some garbage in it that at least appeals to a mass of people, even if it's not me. Now I mean, we will still get movies, but they will probably never get our movies that are good again. Like
Well, I mean, it's like
I could compromise I could compromise
what was
knowing that
coming out
Minecraft.
when we were 13?
I couldn't even tell you. Like when we were 13, I don't even know. Star Wars.
2008.
Yeah. So in 2008, in early, well, or later.
So, yeah. So it would have been like, we got the
Christopher Nolan Batmans.
Yeah, we got the Batmans. We got the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep, we grew up with that. We grew up when the Disney movies were targeting us. So even though we weren't older,
Yeah,
they were still directed at us.
Younger.
So yeah, our lives, we've lived our lives with movies targeting us, and now they're not targeting us, and I don't even know that they're targeting anybody. Minecraft is, I think,
it's like to say that the Minecraft movies like hit a spot with this certain demographic. It's like,
you don't think that's just true?
it is true, but the problem I'm having is, why is it fucking true?
That
the movie sucks dick. Nothing like, all right, so Minecraft has no story whatsoever. You know more about
I know
Minecraft
that.
than
No, I know
do.
that's true. Yep.
And they just made this dumb bullshit of like, just like, if you believe hard enough and you can build it kind of thing.
I don't know, man. So here's what I would say. Here's our Minecraft.
That's not what he.
Well, hold on. Here's
the message. The message of the movie. I want to see the message because I don't even know what message the fucking movie has.
Well, here's what I'll say. Our Minecraft, like our generation's Minecraft, is Fast and Furious. Your hatred for Fast and Furious is because the story is shit. Well, it is still the blockbuster of our generation.
So I was wise enough at let's see when Tokyo Drift came out.
No, I think you just don't.
So I was wise enough at that age to be like, oh, this is some dumb shit.
No, I think you just don't fall for bad storytelling. I think you just don't fall for bad storytelling. It doesn't mean that Fast and Furious isn't like our equivalent.
FOMO?
Fear
of missing out, kind of just like you want to be in the zeitgeist.
It could be. I don't think so. I mean, for us, I mean, I'm glad that young people have movies to go see that isn't Marvel.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll settle for that. I'll say it's bad at the same time, but I will say that this is still a better thing to give young people than the woke, the message, bad Marvel, bad Disney, bad all of these other IPs. I would still rather young people grow up having something that at least they love, they're impassioned by. Even if the story is crap, I mean, they're not going to grow up to be amazing storytellers if they keep down this path. But at least they'll love what they're watching.
I could see the argument of like, these kids, for one, kids these days don't watch movies, they don't watch shows.
No, they game.
Anything. Yeah, but they didn't have the abundance of good entertainment that we did as a kid.
Right.
So maybe they're just in a desert.
Right. And just to reinforce your point you're making, all we have to do is just make the same argument we've made before. The 1999, if you just read the 90s list, like release list of movies, and then tell us we are wrong. Just tell us we're wrong after reading through that entire list, that we didn't grow up with objectively better films.
That is wild to actually. All right.
You read through that list and it's like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
I know. It's like, all right. So I would have been what, 5?
Yeah.
It's like 99. What? All right. If you're incurring, so you were born in what, 2020, and you have 2025 of releases. It's like,
yeah. So you're a young adult. Or you're an adult.
That can't even compare.
No, you missed out. Well, but here's the thing. Like, the movies that were great in the 90s weren't even targeted at us. We had the Disney films that were great in the 90s, but the actual cult classics, like Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, I didn't watch that until like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And I fucking love that.
You know why?
Well, because it wasn't targeted for me when I was growing up.
So many fucking good movies that came out in 99.
Sure, exactly. But I mean, like, and that's what I mean, is like, we can recognize that these movies that are before our time were better.
When it came to entertainment?
No, I think that these movies are still available for young people right now.
Yeah.
There's just like, how are you going to get a person to sit down? How are you going to get a young person today to sit down for 2 hours to watch Fight Club? How? Like, you could pitch it as the greatest film of all time or one of the best films of all time, but how are you going to get them to pay attention to 2 hours for a thought-provoking, like amazingly well acted, singularly narrated or narrated movie where you don't even know the main character's name? How are you going to get a young person to pay attention to Fight Club for 2 hours? You can't. How do you like it's just broken.
Smack your kid as soon as he goes to fucking TikTok.
It's broken. That's what I mean. Is like we are all the great films are available to everybody and more available than they have ever been. And then you have the short attention span filtering content. The only like for me, how I find new content that I love is through YouTube Shorts feeding me it, and I'm like, that is good. Those are good scenes. What is that from? And I'll go dig in and I'll try to find it. So if you don't feed them the great scenes, you're never gonna.
So like kids only experience, which I've been doing this for a while now. It's like going through YouTube Shorts and it's like, oh fuck, that was a good movie and that was a good scene. It's
yeah.
like,
then you go look for it, you find it, maybe you go watch it.
kids aren't doing that.
Well, I mean, you and I both spend like you 80 hours a week, me 60 hours a week on YouTube, and we still find time to go
like
watch great
old
films.
Fox right now. It's like, how do we fucking change our youth?
The old fucks mastered YouTube. How did that happen?
We're not even that old.
We're not. You are. You age so much quicker than I do.
Yeah, emotionally.
All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up there. I think that's a good place to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Third Party Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed the content. It's a fun conversation. And if you guys did like it, please make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. We want to reach 1,000 subscribers. And if you guys can help us get there, it would mean a lot. There's merch in the description and everything else. With all that out of the way, go tell your stories and peace out.
Tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life.